Cowboy lovers. It's what they are. Cowboy lovers.
I think I'm just gonna start this.
I've done nothing. I've been waiting for my broke back reunion, and tonight on AEW Dynamite we got it. The Golden Cowboys, whatever we want to call them, Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page are reunited. Let's get into it.
Uh-oh.
Yes, boy!
French toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
We can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Shibata yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Shibata yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Mark It Down podcast. My name is Nick Cummings, joined by a very clearly happy James Asante, back here once again to review another episode of AEW Dynamite, the first follow-up show to what was a great Forbidden Door on Sunday. And we start with the big news of the evening, which came out of an in-ring promo from one Hangman Adam Page. So Hanger comes down to the ring, freshly off his title defense against MJF, but he begins by talking about Will Ospreay and thanking Will for everything he did for both him in his run-up to beating Jon Moxley and for AEW, saying he knows everyone there will miss him, and he hopes that Will is able to heal up and return to challenge him for the AEW World Championship. Page then turns his attention to MJF, saying that Max had a chance at the title, and despite throwing everything he could at Hangman, Max still failed. Hangman says that with the 7-day notice now required on MJF's contract, which Tony Khan announced at the press conference following Forbidden Door, anybody with an open contract would have to give 7 days notice. If MJF ever has the balls to sign it, Page will beat his ass before the ink dries. It's at this point that the note, I guess, of that carny piece of shit Don Callis hits, and he then comes out and says that he and Hangman have a lot of history together, with Page winning his first AEW championship off of him, but it was only because Don had a weakling as his champion. Now he wants that title back in the family, and it's not a question of when that happens, it's a member of which member of the family is going to take it off of him. Lance Archer, Josh Alexander, Hechicero, and I believe Rocky Romero all then come down to the ring, with Hangman saying that he isn't a dumbass and he knows how this is going to go. And as he is finishing that sentence, he drops the mic and hits a surprise plancha onto, I believe it was Alexander. However...
Yeah, it was.
Thank you. The numbers game quickly catches up to Hangman as it was a 4-on-1, and he gets beaten down and tossed into the ring. JetSpeed, who had just had a match with the Don Callis family, which we'll get into later, returned in an attempt to help Hangman, but it was still a 4-on-3, and Don was able to give Rocky his baton, and Rocky used that to give them a further advantage. And as things are looking really bad, the music of one Kenny Omega hits, and he comes down, taking out Hechicero on the ramp before hitting the ring and stealing the baton from Rocky and using it on a slew of people. Archer then goes after Omega, but he and Hangman are basically able to ping-pong Archer back and forth with strikes before Archer is dropped to his knees. Hangman, who was out on the apron, and Kenny, who was right up against the ropes, look at each other, and before they can make any moves, JetSpeed then hit the corners and hit stereo moonsaults to the outside. And then Hangman and Omega nod at each other and hit the buckshot lariat V-trigger combo, taking out Archer and sending him out of the ring. Kenny and Hangman then look at each other and smile and dap up and hug, reuniting for the first time in forever as Kenny raises Hangman's hand, and then they're rejoined in the ring by Speedball and Kevin Knight. And then later in the show, it was announced that Hangman, Kenny, and JetSpeed will all be teaming up next week against Kyle Fletcher, Josh Alexander, and the Young Bucks. So, James, as we saw by the cold open, you are beside yourself with happiness at the moment. as we get. I don't really remember the last time Hangman and Kenny were together, so I know it's been a while, but it's nice to see them back together once again.
The last time I remember them being together was an All-In where it was Kenny, Hangman, and Coda.
Okay, it was that one.
Yeah. They might have done something else since then, but I don't think so. They've been very careful to keep them apart. And I think it's been for the best because this moment was fantastic. I know you want to get into it, and we're going to, but I'll start the proceedings a little bit. This was exactly the crowd for it and exactly the building for it. These were the people who would care about this. These were the fans that would be excited for this, and they were. This was an epic moment. Hangman being the not a dumbass, but kind of a dumbass in being willing to fight them all one-on-one, and one on all of them. Getting that help from JetSpeed, when they came out, I was like, oh, God, I love them, but they're not who I want to see. And then the tide was turning still. Like, the bad guys are still on top of it. Don brought out that baton. I was like, oh, okay, they might build to it later. But then Kenny's going to hit. It felt like maybe the world was starting to feel a little bit.
Hey, James, I'm sorry to cut you off, but your mic is kind of going. You sound a little bit like you're underwater, so you might have to fix that a little. This is why we're on late, folks. Some technical difficulties, so it looks like we're just trying to work that out. But I am just so happy to see them back together. I am very interested to see where they can take this from here. Obviously, there's going to be some wars with the family. It looks like the family is coming for the championship, and it's very interesting to see Kenny being an ally of the champion instead of wanting to go for it himself. So I'm very psyched to see where this goes. And we've gotten to the point where James has had to attach his gaming microphone back to his headphones because that's always a fun thing. As he continues to try to fix that, I did want to say hi to Maria in the chat. I know she was here early. What's going on, Maria? Good to have you as always. I guess, well, we continue and we'll get back to Hangman in a second. James mentioned the crowd in the arena, and I just wanted to say how great the ECW arena looks tonight. I know it's not called that anymore. I don't care. I'm still calling that. It's still Shea Stadium. Yep, you are on, James.
There you go. You can hear me?
Yep,
how do I sound? All right. No, thank you for taking over while I was dealing with that. I loved it. And to your point, I was listening even though I couldn't speak. I enjoyed Kenny's coming out to help the champion. A lot of us think it's going to happen. We're going to get the rematch at some point. But that's not what this was about. And if anything, Kenny didn't just come out because of helping Hangman. He came out because Don kind of took a shot at him.
Yeah.
Don was the one who said, like, you took that title from me the first time, and it was because I had a weak representative.
Yeah, I think he called him a weakling.
A weakling. So for Kenny, he's got something to prove. And maybe that will be the crux of them going back at it for a rematch, where Kenny needs to prove to himself that he can do it. But either way, just really masterfully done. It's so simple, but so effective, and I loved it.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see which member of the family ends up going after Hangman for the championship. I mean, I would love to see Takeshita go for it, but I think he's going to be a little wrapped up, with New Japan in the coming months just because,
so,
he
yes
won the
and no.
G1, but...
Do we know when a family member is going to go for the title? I'm assuming it'll be for All Out, I'd imagine.
Yeah, that would be my guess, but it's a real big question of who, right?
Yeah, no, I understand, but for the timing of Takeshita is not cashing in the IWGP title shot at Wrestle Kingdom in January. He's going after it in October.
Right, okay. Oh, so, all right. I heard Excalibur say that during that tag match, or not Excalibur, excuse me, I think it was Rick Ronnie who said it. And I was just like, is he just getting a title match and not at Wrestle Kingdom?
So this is the second year in a row the winner of the G1 is cashing in before Wrestle Kingdom. It happened.
Is that a thing they're going to start doing, I guess?
We'll see. I personally am. I understand why they would do it because it is a long wait between August and January.
Yeah.
So I get it, but you're losing to me a little bit of the prestige of winning the G1 by doing so. But we'll see. Takeshita is not going to be locked unless he wins the title in October. He's not going to be locked into New Japan for all that time. So we'll see. I wouldn't have him do it just because him going for it, winning or losing, kind of takes the shine off of him going for the IWGP title.
Exactly.
But I don't know. There's some real possibilities here. Is Trent not with them anymore?
He is. I just don't know where he's been.
Like Rocky was there.
Yeah, Trent pops up every once in a while, but not always, which is weird. I know. So I agree with you. I don't think Takeshita is going to go for it just for that reason. I don't think New Japan would appreciate him, even losing to the champion, but losing in a big, high-profile match before going to challenge for the IWGP title would probably be a bad look just for Takeshita. Maria suggesting Hangman versus Okada, but Okada is the unified champion, and I don't think you want to knock that title down any pegs, considering that Tony mentioned he kind of wanted to treat it as a second world championship. So as much as I would like to see Hangman versus Okada, I don't think that's coming at least until Okada loses that title, and God knows when that's going to go. Fernando, what's going on, dude? As always, suggesting Hangman versus Wardlow. I, again, don't think he's the guy just because they just brought him back.
See, but I will say I agree with that, but that's never stopped Tony before.
This is also true. I mean, he brought Megan Bayne in, and she immediately got a title shot and lost, and she's looked strong post that title match. But
so good to see her on Dynamite again tonight, by the way.
It was.
Yeah.
So it could be Wardlow. I know Hechicero is going for the Ring of Honor title on Friday, so it doesn't seem like he's going to be the option, although I imagine that match would slap. Alexander, he got a win tonight. He's also a possibility. So, yeah, I think my best guess would probably either be Alexander or Wardlow. But we'll see how all that goes. I'm just excited to see Kenny back with Hangman. I'm excited to see them team up again next week.
How great was that
against the Bucks? I know there's other people involved, but that's so exciting.
How great was that? I miss their tag finisher so much. Like, they're the only two people who could hit that move. It's not like other tag finishers where, like, there might be some wiggle room that other people could hit it. Like, how many teams hit the 3D now? You know? But something like the buckshot V-trigger, that is specific to those two guys.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's other quote-unquote wrestlers who hit buckshots, but no one can do it as well as Hangman. Exactly. Some people even break their legs trying to do it. And then I think Kenny Omega probably has the best knee strikes ever in the history of wrestling. So you're right. It's such a unique thing. Those moves are so unique to them. And then the fact that they are able to combine it is so unique to their tag team. It was great to see again, even if it was against somebody who was really, really tall and didn't look the best because they were.
I thought it was fine. I thought the knee to the back, the lariat. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I'm being very, very nitpicky. It's only because when Kenny hits it on shorter people, he usually hits it up around their neck, and Ultra's 6'9" or whatever he is in his boots. So it was more in the middle of the back, and just the V trigger wasn't the best, but it still looked great.
That's like your opinion, man.
Yeah, exactly. A few comments just from other people. Maria saying it was great to see them again. And then speaking of things that looked great, back to the ECW arena. Maria says it didn't look like a bingo hall. And I don't think it's been that in a long time, James, just because the fame of the arena has allowed it to become, what is it now, like the 2300 arena or something? Yeah, it's they maintain it as an arena now. So I thought the place looked great. I thought WWE's setup, especially that entranceway, was awesome. I thought it captured the kind of old school feel of ECW with the fence and stuff, but added the new school LED trons, which was great. And then, as you mentioned, the crowd was fantastic.
Crowd was amazing. I felt for one guy in the crowd in particular who was sort of at the mouth of the ramp where it meets the ring and it meets like the ringside area, there was this pillar that was right there.
Oh, we'll talk about that pillar.
And this one guy either had to sit to the left or to the right. Can you imagine getting a front row seat and having obstructed view?
I have to tell you, right?
I'd imagine, but how much does that have to suck? Like you cannot turn left and right to look at something. You have to physically go around the pole to get the full view. That would drive me nuts.
I got to imagine that's a discounted seat.
I would hope so.
And you know that going in.
It's a small arena. When I first looked at it without remembering they were in the 2300, I was like, oh my God, I know that Tony's running smaller arenas, but this is nuts. This is like a TNA building. But then I remembered it was the 2300 and I was like, oh, this is nothing. This is exactly like WWE running the Hammerstein. You know, sometimes I'd rather a small crowd in a prestigious building.
Yeah. And I mean, AEW obviously ran Hammerstein. They had the residency there for a while. They're having the residency here. Yeah. As Maria said, the crowd was hyped. And I think the combination of the two things, or I guess they're really the three things, the building, the setup, and the crowd, this residency is already paying off. So I'm already excited to watch what happens next week. What happens on Friday at Ring of Honor, which is probably going to be really cool. I think it's Death Before Dishonor, right, on Friday?
Yes.
And then what happens on Collision. So
only people who aren't happy about the building are the union workers, apparently.
Yeah, I've only heard rumblings about that. I haven't actually read about it, so I'm not going to comment. But I think I saw SRS tweet out that don't they know it's the legacy of the ECW arena not to pay union workers?
It's the American Ribera jacket.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
So hopefully they can figure out whatever that is, but that's above my pay grade.
Yeah.
All right, let's head to the top of the show here, where we were supposed to get an opening match, but instead we were interrupted by FTR and Stokely as they came out to the ring and couldn't get a microphone to work for a minute because ECW. And then Dax finally got a working one. And he began to talk about the quote-unquote miscarriage of justice that occurred on Sunday, saying that he was the illegal man, or excuse me, not that he was the illegal one. The illegal man pinned him in the tag team championship match in order to win. Obviously that being Bandido, he was saying he was illegal. He then called over referee Paul Turner, who was in the ring because he was supposed to be reffing that opening match. And Dax says that he forced him to go home to his wife and kid and tell them that he failed because of an incompetent moron. Dax tries to get him to overturn his decision and name FTR the tag team champions, but Turner says that his decision is final. Stokely then starts calling him as many versions of stupid as possible, saying that Turner just wants to play the online crowd before demanding he reverse his decision and calling him an idiot and getting all up into Turner's face. At this point, Paul decides he's not going to take any shit from Stokely, because no one should, and pushes him away, and that causes FTR to get between the two men. Adam Copeland's music then hits, and he comes out, but he's kind of waiting at the ramp, looking behind him, trying to presumably see if Christian Cage is going to follow him out. Christian's not there, though. Instead, he went around and cut through the crowd, came in from behind, and hit Stokely with a kill switch behind FTR's backs. When they turn around to see what happened, kind of freeze in a what the hell sort of fear, and that allows Copeland to run into the ring, and the brawl is on. The referee course quickly spills into the ring, followed by a whole bunch of security, and eventually, after much pull-aparts, everyone is finally separated, with FTR escaping to the entrance ramp, dragging along Stokely's corpse. Christian then grabs a mic, and he says that they took care of his problem at Forbidden Door, and now they're going to take care of Adam's problem. He then brings up the fact that Dax has a father, and Cash, you have a father, but then Copeland takes the mic and cuts him off. And he's like, no, we're not doing it that way. But the crowd gets really upset, so Copeland calls him a bunch of sickos, and he gives the mic back to Christian, who says, and the bitch is dead, which completely sets off Dax and Cash, and the security has to re-swarm and keep them from getting back into the ring. Cope then grabs the mic and informs FTR that they have a tag team match in Toronto at All Out, where he will get his pound of flesh. So, James, dad jokes aside, I like this a lot. I like
do too.
FTR getting Paul Turner involved. I thought that Dax had very good interactions with him. I like Paul not taking Stokely's shit because, again, nobody should.
Nobody should.
And I thought this was a great way to set up for and announce this match, that it being the first one announced for All Out in a few weeks.
Fun way to officially start the show. I'm getting everything I need out of the CNC team, which is going to take me a second to get used to because I'm starting to see CNC. But I'm getting everything I need out of the CNC team. I'm loving the good cop, bad cop dynamic that they have. And FTR is undeniably kind of killing it right now with Stokely, who, by the way, I don't know if it was this show or the pay-per-view, but somebody had a sign that got highlighted on social media today. And it was a sign with a checklist for it's Stokely on an image of Stokely, and then a bunch of boxes. Bald, check. Short, check. There was one other one, and then it was hose.
No hose. Yeah.
It was incredible. Even Cope liked it on social media.
I think it was at Forbidden Door because I saw him like it recently. Or it might have actually been last week.
Gotcha.
On Dynamite. It was one of the two.
Either way, that unit is really earning its existence. You know, they're earning their TV time. Who, speaking of TV time for FTR, needed to apparently defend themselves from Jake Hager this week.
Oh, I saw that was so weird.
It's so awkward. Jake, come on, man.
I wasn't even entirely sure what he said, but Cash posted like his apology that was sent in text message,
which he then tweeted like, "It doesn't matter how many texts he sent; they were there." And it's like, how do you back down in the apology text and then try to act tough again on the tweet? Whatever. But FTR killing it, Stoke killing it, him just continuing to get bodied by CNC in different ways every week is just a true treasure to watch.
Yeah, I love Fernando here with a great line. The Stoke got broke, which is great. But yeah, no, Stokely is great because he is a top tier instigator.
Yes.
You know, but he's also the top tier instigator who can't do shit about it.
Exactly.
So him always having to hide behind FTR makes it all hilarious.
Yes.
And then when you have instances like this where Stokely, who's been getting the shit kicked out of him a lot recently between both Copeland and Christian, when people do get their hands on him, it creates such a big pop. And then FTR, shit hits the fan and you get a great brawl, or an excellent brawl, as Maria called it, like this one. So love the stuff out of them. I'm very much looking forward to this match. I'm looking forward to seeing how they go through the next couple of weeks here, building up to the fight. So it should be a lot of fun coming up.
Do you think the illegal man thing is going to lead to a rematch?
I can see that happening eventually. I do think it makes sense. I don't know what Tony wants to do with Brodido. I'm really not sure. But I don't think I don't want them to have a short title reign. But we were all of the mindset that FTR was eventually going to win so that Edge and Christian, Cope and Christian could beat them for the titles. I guess that is technically possible.
But it's now official. Cope Christian versus FTR is going to be at All Out,
right?
So,
but I'm saying that I think there's a chance that they have assuming Copeland and Christian win, there's a rematch down the line because FTR has won the titles, and they're like, "Hey, we beat you. We want a title shot." And
Fernando here saying he thinks the rematch will happen before All Out.
It's a possibility as well. That's why I was also just kind of thinking out loud, what does Tony want out of Brodido as the champs? Does he want a very quick title reign? Was this just a thing to kind of get the titles on them, help get them over, and then FTR wins them back before this match at All Out? So I don't know. It depends on what Tony wants to do. I hope he gives Bandido a good run, though. They're a lot of fun together. I'm very much enjoying them. And, their in-ring chemistry went so quick into being great that I don't want them to blow it up so quickly.
Yeah.
Some other comments here. Maria saying that there was an awkward start to the promo, and it was kind of funny though because the crowd was able to just chant "shut the fuck up" at them, and because they couldn't talk, which was funny. She also enjoyed the misdirect between Cope and Christian and FTR. Fernando is saying that Jake Hager needs to look at himself in the mirror regarding his wrestling career. Well, yes, he said he's officially retired, but
Nobody believes him.
From the few clips I have seen from that interview, it does seem like he thinks his career was much bigger than it was. So you probably got a point. And Danny with the LFGM. Yep, got the man head on. Had a little black on black, but swept the Phillies. Let's go. Even though I'm wearing a Sixers jersey because they were in Philly. Fuck Philly. All right, moving on after this. We had a pretty sick video package from Darby Allin.
I have been waiting for this.
If we didn't see enough of his bloody ear on Sunday, just wait. Here's some more. Because Darby decided to open up the wound and paint a literal picture in his blood while his voiceover and some great classical piano was behind it. And he called out Moxley and laid out a challenge for All Out, telling Moxley not to show up if he's not willing to die for everything he has. He was talking about how he wanted to take everything from Moxley this entire time. It wasn't just about his title, but his career as well. And talking about him going to Everest and them telling him, if you're not willing to die to do this, don't do it, equating it to him and Moxley fighting each other. So I thought this was fucking great, James, for like a minute and a half.
Yeah, no, I said it and I mean it. I have been waiting for this. We spoke about how he hasn't really spoken on the mic since coming back. He hasn't really cut a promo or really acknowledged anything since coming back. He's just been sort of stinging it, coming in for the save, coming in for the big moment, and that's it. And it was working. Like, I was fine with it. But I was waiting to hear him speak. I was waiting to hear his intentions. And we got it. And I loved it. I loved how he spoke about crying on the mountain when he saw the dead bodies.
Yep.
I love how he spoke about saying that it made him appreciate life and how every moment is worth it. The 15 minutes, as he said. I love that. And now he wants to take out Mox because Mox is doing what he can to shorten people's moments. And I thought that was just so simple but so powerful, and it's such a natural thing to come out of this very real life accomplishment that he climbed the mountain, that he climbed Everest. So I really, really, really enjoyed this. I've been waiting for it. It delivered, and I was a little surprised. I guess it makes sense, but I was a little surprised that they immediately followed the promo with Mox and they didn't just go into his match with Claudio.
Well, that was the main event. So.
No, but I mean, it didn't have to be the main event. Like they could have either done this promo later, right before the match, or they could have had the match happen right after this promo. I don't think Claudio Darby needed to main event.
I think it was main eventing because it was a Falls Count Anywhere match in the ECW arena. But
Yeah,
I like the order in which they did this because it allowed Moxley to respond, and then it set up later for Moxley returning after Darby's match. So I thought they did it in a good order. I like the way they did it personally.
That's fair. You're wrong, but that's fair.
I'm never wrong. Speaking of Moxley's match, he faced off against Daniel Garcia following that video package, as James mentioned. A few minutes into the match, Daddy Magic came out to much applause when Garcia got thrown to the outside, and he was able to prevent Yuta and Marino from getting involved, which was cool. And I was happy that Daddy Magic got that much hype.
Not only did he get hype, Garcia got a great reaction from the crowd, too.
Yeah, exactly.
They were really into him.
There was a fuck him up, Dan.
Gonna kill you.
That's
Danny's gonna, like they did it Fuck him up, Danny. Fuck him up.
Honestly, the amount of fucks within the first half hour of the show between FTR and Yuta and then the fuck him up Danny's.
It was amazing.
The crowd was really on it, and I think Tony was just like, this is ECW Arena. I'm not bleeping it.
Every once in a while, you take the fine.
Yeah. There's no fine. It's TNT. But
that's true.
But or TBS. But either way, same thing. But I do think that they were saying it so often. Tony was like, if I bleep this every time, we're never going to hear commentary.
Yeah.
I think that's why he just didn't do it. Anyway, Garcia spent much of this match working over Moxley's left knee, including countering a paradigm shift by holding onto the ropes and using that to lock in a half crab, which I thought was really cool. However, Moxley was able to escape to the outside from that, where he lured in Garcia and then hit him with a paradigm shift on the stairs, forcing Garcia to beat the count. After some back and forth, Garcia was able to lock in the Dragon Tamer, but once again, he did the thing where he cinched back too far, and Moxley was able to get in, at least attempt a bulldog choke. Garcia quickly escaped, though, and he got a roll-up and forced Moxley to kick out. Garcia then attempted another Dragon Tamer, but Moxley was able to get in a roll-up and then held down Garcia for the 3 and the win. After the match, Moxley gave a mic to Wheeler Yuta, who said that Moxley won't even waste his breath answering Darby's challenge, telling Darby the answer is no. Meanwhile, on the outside of the ring, Garcia was in Moxley's face complaining about something, which went on until Moxley ended up walking away, leaving Garcia to jaw at Yuta, who then just laughed him off and walked away as well. So, James, I really liked this match. I thought commentary...
I think you missed something. I'm so sorry. Normally, I wouldn't do that, but you did miss something. It wasn't that Danny was jawing off at Moxley. Moxley was sort of... I don't think he antagonizing him, but he was sort of trying to, it felt like he was trying to lure Garcia in. He kissed him on the cheek, twice.
Yeah, it was very weird.
I think we're seeing the possibility of Moxley, and Maria saying it too. Moxley's recruiting Garcia to join the Death Riders. Whether or not that's going to happen, we'll see. But I think we're seeing Mox was impressed by Garcia because he didn't definitively beat Garcia. He got around him. He survived him a little bit. So I think this was Mox being impressed with Garcia and saying, come on, join the party.
Maybe. Either way, Garcia was very frustrated, though, when he left the ringside. He, flipped the chair over. He was pissed. And while I was waiting for the show to start, I actually, they posted a backstage promo from Garcia over on AEW socials. And it was great. He was talking about how when, the war against the Death Riders first started, he was one of the first ones in the parking lot waiting. I think he said with Dark Order and Karen Jarrett to go after them. And then, they were all waiting for the heroes to step up and there were no titles on the line, but then titles got involved. The heroes started to come in and then they quote unquote won. But now we're guys like Swerve and Ospreay. And meanwhile, he finally gets his shot at the Death Riders and Moxley, not in a parking lot, but in the ring. And he loses not because Moxley beat him, but because he made a mistake, and then he emphasized over and over again that he again made a mistake. So I think there's just this frustration with Garcia that he keeps losing, not because of anything anyone else is doing, but because of stuff he's doing. And this kind of goes all the way back to when he first started using that Dragon Tamer, and it's something he did again tonight. He keeps leaning too far back, gives up the head, and then somebody gets in a choke. And while he was able to escape the choke this time, it did lead to Garcia having to put the Dragon Tamer on again and then Moxley getting the roll-up. So I do think it's probably something that may be pushing towards a heel turn from Garcia. But at least, again, for this match, James, I thought commentary did a good job pointing out that tonight, as you mentioned, he was able to not only hang with Moxley, but be his equal. And it was just that one mistake that cost him the match. But again, it's that one mistake that Garcia seems to can't get over in any match.
And I mean, it's showing his youth, it's showing his inexperience, but it's the type of thing the Death Riders would teach out of him or want to teach out of him. That said, What was that?
Or beat out of him.
Or beat out of him. That said, though, if I'm Daniel Garcia and I'm looking at Wheeler Yuta, I run away from the Death Riders as fast as possible. I run for the hills if I see Wheeler Yuta in the Death Riders, as that's my future. No, thank you.
Yeah, and while I can agree with Fernando to an extent that Garcia badly needs a character change, I think we do get one because they seem to be building his frustration that I think is going to lead to a heel turn. I don't think it leads to him joining the Death Riders, but you saw something a little bit in that backstage promo where Daddy Magic walked in towards the end of it, and at one point Garcia kept saying, like, I keep making the mistake, I keep making the mistake, we keep making the mistake, and then he corrects himself, like, I keep making the mistake. So I could see him maybe turning on Daddy Magic at one point, maybe attacking Nigel McGuinness because they've been kind of friendly, the past couple of weeks, and trying to find a new, maybe more vicious, heel mentor. Who that is, I don't know, but it seems like he needs somebody else, and I think he's going to have to turn heel to find it.
He's due. It's not what I want, but he's due.
Yeah, like I think the crowd still loves him, but he's been doing this face thing for a minute, and he was so good as a heel that I think it'll breathe fresh life into him.
That's really what it comes down to. I can't even say he was that great as a heel. Like, not that I thought he was bad. It's just I think he just needs something fresh.
Yeah, you got to remember when he was a heel too. He was part of the JAS. He was still very young. He was learning a character or how to be a character at that time because he was always so technically good. And he found the character, and that character allowed him to turn face. But I think that character has run its course.
I think so too.
So, and I don't think it's overstaying its welcome as we're getting the shift at the moment. But you definitely can see, like, it's all right. Like, this is the time to do it, and tell a good story while you are, which they are doing.
I agree.
Maria saying if Garcia rejects the Death Riders, he can become the DDP of this story.
We have a Sting now. We have a DDP.
Yeah.
Oh, God, can you imagine if Eric Bischoff played ball and he wasn't a dick?
It would be interesting, but be making a little more money, probably doing his thing. Speaking of dicks, after we got back from commercial, Wheeler Yuta came back to the ring with a microphone in hand, saying that he wouldn't allow the show to continue until he says what he needs to say. Yuta then says that he used to live in Philly and he would do ring crew and break bones in the ECW arena, but all it's gotten him is chance of shut the fuck up and fuck you, Yuta, and a bunch of other stuff he can't say on television. But none of that matters now because he is a Death Rider. And besides, where have the cheers gotten people like Will Ospreay, who's out with a neck injury because the Death Riders put him out, or Chuck Taylor, who's out with forever, basically, with a neck injury, or even Bryan Danielson. Wheeler starts to say that he's the one who slayed the dragon, but then the lights go out, and Wheeler's like, all right, now who the hell is this? And then, up in the rafters, a brand new Hook signal is shown.
And Hook too.
Yep, Hook comes out to new music. Couldn't tell if it was Sinatra or Dean Martin, and I probably should know, and I'm losing Italian points. But Hook saunters down to the ring and quickly locks in the Red Room onto Wheeler before letting him out of it while Wheeler's dazed and hitting him with, it looked like a Superman punch, and dropping Yuta and sending him out of the ring and scurrying away. And then Hook just leaves the ring and coolly goes backstage. So Hook is back, James. Bit of a new look, new theme, new signal. This obviously spells a big change for Hook, and the Death Riders were the ones that took him out. But following his last appearance, kind of seemingly denying Samoa Joe and the Opps and returning to them, it looks like he's going to try to do this thing on his own.
I don't know how I feel. Like, I'm happy he's back. I missed Hook. I actually really did miss Hook. But and this is only week one. It's not fair to be like, what are they doing? Why aren't they doing this, and this yet? But it is kind of a bummer that there's just nothing. I don't even think they acknowledged the Opps. So I thought that was a little weird. I thought that was a little silly, funny. But I'm happy he's back. Gonna let it play out a little bit, but I need there to be some acknowledgement of his team or former team.
Yeah, I think in the near future, you either get a promo or like a backstage promo or maybe a sit-down interview with Hook and they talk about it. Or maybe he just runs into Joe and the Opps at some point and they're like, hey, dude, glad you're back. And he's just like, you guys didn't even text me to see if I was okay or something like that. Or you just went and replaced me and won the Trios championships when we were the ones who were supposed to do that. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, I think we also need to have a moment to talk about Taz and how he just never seems to know what his son is doing at any given moment. And of course, his son's an adult. He doesn't need to run things by his dad. But how do you not know your son's in the building? How do you not know what your son's plans are?
I do guess occasionally they play that up a little too much, but I appreciate Taz attempting to be objective at all points, especially when his son is involved.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, though, Maria not feeling Hook didn't care about this at all. And I not everyone likes Hook. I can understand, like, some people like think his character has been fairly one-dimensional. And I'm hoping this shift maybe gives him a little bit more and can help, progress him further because he is still very young.
Young. Big time kid.
After this, we went to a backstage promo from MJF following his loss at Forbidden Door. And this was great from MJF. So he's there and he's bloody as hell and the camera's in his face. And he's sarcastically asking if they want the typical MJF post-match interview. And he's like, how am I supposed to give that interview with all the confidence after that loss? And then he begins to say that this match proved his point about the crowd and about everyone in AEW. He's out there bleeding buckets. The crowd's chanting, you deserve it. Hangman's out there bleeding buckets. They're chanting cowboy shit. They chant you deserve it when he had the match won, and Mark Briscoe came out to ruin it. They chanted it when he had the contract cracked over his head. They chanted it, you deserve it, and he keeps saying that, and he becomes increasingly enraged. Then he shifts his attention, first saying that he should have burned Briscoe alive after what Briscoe did to him in the match, costing him his title. And then he gets really upset at Tony Khan because Tony had just informed him and everybody that he has to give 7 days notice before catching his contract, which he obviously thinks is bullshit.
I don't know how I feel about this, by the way. We didn't really talk about it last time because it was new, like it was happening as we were covering.
Yeah, we didn't really get into it because we weren't watching.
Well, we'll talk in a second, but I'm conflicted.
Okay, yeah. So Max finished things up by saying that after he's finished with Briscoe, he's coming for Hangman. But when he cashes his contract, he will be coming for Hangman's soul. So, James, obviously, we'll talk about that 7-day thing in a sec, but this was top tier from MJF.
Loved it.
Some of the best stuff he's done not in a long time, but I think it's some of the best stuff he's done maybe ever. That's how good I thought this was.
I completely agree. You and I, and many people have often gone off on Max a little bit, that we know how great he is, which is sometimes why it's disappointing when he goes for like the cheap stuff.
Yep.
The low-hanging fruit kind of promo. And I love that he acknowledged it. Like, what, you guys are wanting the typical MJF promo, the typical post-match promo from MJF? No, you're not getting it. You're getting this instead. And it was so passionate, yet not his usual, I'm just yelling kind of promo that he sometimes does. Really loved it. Really loved that he continues to just be honest with us, even though he's not being honest with himself. Not fully. I start bleeding. You start chanting, I deserve it. He starts bleeding. You chant cowboy shit. He just wants us to love him. He wants us to like him. And it's breaking him that we don't. It's breaking him that we boo him. It's breaking him that we consider him the bad guy of the story. No matter what he says, no matter how he acts, that's the truth of it. It's what he wants. He wants us to love him. And it's just so well done. It's so, like, it's there. It's surface level in some ways, but it's also very nuanced in other ways, especially in terms of wrestling. So beautiful promo here. I'm glad they did it the way they did. I'm glad they didn't bring him out for a promo. I'm glad they didn't have him do anything else. I'm glad that they didn't acknowledge the Hurt Syndicate stuff because I'm sure it's coming, but now wasn't the time. So well done on all fronts. MJF nailed it. AEW nailed it in terms of presentation. Just great way to keep him in our mouths as we're talking on Dynamite without him being there.
Yeah, as Maria said, another great promo from the best heel in the business, and I could not agree more. James, as for this new stipulation, with any outstanding contract that you win in a casino gauntlet or other casino match, you now have to declare 7 days before cashing it in. What are your feelings on this? Obviously, it takes away from the quick and sudden Money in the Bank style cash in, which I thought would be something that MJF could really use to his benefit. You lose that, but you now get an opportunity where you do get at least a little bit of time to build up to any potential match with these contracts in the future.
I respect that Tony and AEW don't want to have something that feels like a knockoff of Money in the Bank. WWE has Money in the Bank. TNA has the Call Your Shot Gauntlet contract. It's not a new thing by any stretch. So I respect the fact that Tony wants to have something that differentiates them, that doesn't feel like a copycat. Sure. One, I didn't mind that it was the same thing essentially as Money in the Bank. I thought it was fine for what it was.
Yeah, same.
I like that it kind of added some suspense, like, oh, fuck, when is so-and-so going to cash in? Athena's going to cash in at any moment on Tony. MJF, that wily son of a bitch, he can cash in at any point. You lose that with the week. There is no preying on a weak champion, at least not to the same extent. Like if Hangman gets demolished on Dynamite and he says, you know what, I'm going to cash in next week because I know you probably have some broken ribs. Sure, but it just doesn't hit the same. You're not going to get the pop the same way. But I don't, and more than that, I am now very, very confused as to why he didn't just use the contract against Hangman in that match. Like, what's the story here? Like, if the idea was he couldn't beat Hangman with it without cashing it in, he couldn't beat him fairly one-on-one, you know what? He's still going to win that championship after Hangman goes down to fucking Kenny or Swerve or whoever. MJF's still going to get his. No, that's not it. So he should have. Like, there's no reason. And I'm not talking kayfabe-wise. I'm talking out-of-universe-wise. I don't understand why they muddied it up the way they did. At this point, I feel vindicated in thinking that it was really stupid how they went back and forth on that decision.
Yeah, I guess that's fair in terms of at least, the match on Sunday. Kayfabe-wise, the reason he didn't cash in was because he was unconscious.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. No, but, like, again, I'm talking, like, initially the story was Hangman got under his skin and made him cash in. Then he threatened to burn Mark, so he wasn't cashing in. It was just a match. Why was it written that way if now he can't just cash in? And from an in-universe standpoint, I kind of agree with MJF and being pissed that I won this contract under the pretense that I can cash it in whenever I want, and now you're telling me I can't. This isn't as worth it for me anymore. This isn't as useful a tool to me anymore. Tony, like, again, I'm saying this sort of in-universe and out-of-universe. Like, meta, he should have probably just did this for the next one. Like, for the next Call Your Shot Gauntlet, TNA. For the next casino match, that's when you implement this. I legitimately think MJF has a real gripe here.
And hopefully that's something they use, in universe as well, as you were saying, where MJF really starts harping on the fact that he's not allowed to do it because Tony's a dick and da-da-da-da-da. Like you said, he won it under the pretense that he could, and now for arbitrary reasons, he can't. But like I mentioned, I do think that this really does take away a great storytelling device from MJF, because I feel like he is the character who should be able to go in and pick the bones of whoever is champion, whether it's somebody just beating Hangman and they go through hell, or Hangman goes through hell and, after a title match and retains, and then MJF is able to come in and defeat him due to Hangman's injury or whatever it may be. So I'm a little disappointed we don't get that now, but I am curious to see how they play this out in the future, just because it is different than Money in the Bank, and it is something new. So I'm at least intrigued by it, even though I don't necessarily love it.
Yeah.
Maria on the other side of the fence saying she didn't like the Money in the Bank similarities. And I can understand that people watching AEW want different things. And like you said, Tony probably wants something different and to have this differentiated from Money in the Bank. So I get it both. Well, I get it out of kayfabe, and then both in and out of kayfabe, just at least for booking MJF in particular, I am a little confused.
We'll see.
All right, let's keep it rolling. Our next match saw Kris Statlander and Harley Cameron face off against Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. And boy, did Stat and Harley have a lot of fun with their entrance.
Boy, did we all.
Yep.
Boy, did we all.
Very much bonk. To jump to the end of this match, after Harley was able to take out Megan Bayne with the Tilt-A-Whirl DDT on the outside, Penelope Ford was already up top, and she went for a crossbody onto Statlander, but Kris was able to catch her and roll through. Statlander gets her up in the electric chair and prevents Penelope from hitting a poison rana by just planting her face first into the mat, and then quickly capitalized by maneuvering Ford into a submission, trapping Ford's arms between her legs and forcing Penelope to tap out. This is a cool submission from Statlander. Yeah. Apparently, she was using it the last few weeks. It's almost kind of like a Rings of Saturn with her legs. I like it.
I'm here. I'm here for it.
After the match, Bayne attacked Harley on the outside and quickly jumped in the ring to go after Statlander, and the two had some back and forth before Stat was able to fight her off, hitting her with a thrust kick and knocking her out of the ring. As she did that, Willow Nightingale came down to the ring, seemingly for the save, but Stat had already had everything handled, so then they just kind of have to stand there awkwardly. Harley then gets to the ring and hugs both of them before raising both of their hands as Bayne and Ford retreat to the back. So, James, very good match here. Yes. I enjoyed this immensely. The crowd was very into this. Harley must have done some serious training while she was out, because she looks 10 times better than she was before she left, even though we know she's a very quick learner.
Yeah.
She looks great.
100%. She's been killing it.
Everyone really played their part here, and we have almost, it seems like a bit of a thawing between Statlander and Willow. So a lot of great stuff in this match and the post-match stuff.
I'm happy that we're getting it finally, but my God, does it feel like we just took the longest, most scenic way to get here? Like, I'm all for a story that has twists and turns, but sometimes it's okay to take the simple way. Simple does not mean bad. Simple does not mean like weak. Sometimes it's the road that makes the most sense. So I don't know. Even now, this moment that should have been a save, it was awkward. It's like, why? Just either let her make the goddamn save. Let her be the hero here and show Stat that she's trying to.
After Stat has been the one making saves for Willow. So,
and I will watch Harley in anything. I will watch Harley do anything. Anything. But I don't need her in the middle of this story too. Like, if we're setting up the women's tag division, which it feels like we finally are.
Yep.
I don't need it to be muddied that is she Stat's partner or is Willow Stat's partner. I don't need that. Just fucking let them be a tag team already.
I mean, I could see Harley being the one to convince them to say, be a tag team and go after the titles when they create, hopefully, as Maria wants as well, these women tag team championships. And I have to imagine there'll be a tournament to crown the first champs. And I could see Willow or Queen Aminata or whomever it is jumping in there and be like, why the yeah. But even then, like, why the fuck aren't you two going after the tag titles? Like, why are you not entering this tournaments? And and I can see Harley being that catalyst. I don't think it's going to be a will they, won't they, and then Harley is there and then she's not. I just think it'll be Harley is the one who brings them together.
Maybe
because who can say no to her?
Not me.
Not
I, friend.
Yeah, but great match from these women, and again, so excited to get this tag division rolling because we're just going to see more great matches like this, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, 100%. I've been begging for these tag titles since essentially the inception of the women's division in AEW.
Yeah, and I understand. Not that I understand why it's taking this long, but the level the division is at now compared to what it was
absolutely.
At the inception of AEW. And then even a few years ago is so much better. It's so much deeper, and Tony Khan is pushing it so much more that this feels like the time to finally introduce these titles. Because I feel like for a long time they probably would have just been there.
I think we could have I think we could have done it a year ago, and I think they would have been good a year ago. But I agree. At this point, it's like. We need it now. We need it now.
It's reaching a fever pitch.
Yes. Yeah.
So hopefully Tony gets that going sooner than later.
For sure.
All right, moving on to our next segment. We came back from commercial to Mercedes Moné's championship celebration. Mercedes was introduced by Renee, and she comes out wearing the TBS championship with her 8 other title belts already displayed out on the table in the ring. Renee then runs down all of Mercedes' accomplishments last week in Great Britain. She defended her Rev Pro title. She defended the TBS championship. She was able to win a couple other matches in that process. And Mercedes thanks Renee for all of the compliments, telling her, because she already knows what Renee is going to ask, telling her that's what next is she's going to pass Ultimo Dragon's record 10 belts and go after any woman who currently has a title so that she can continue to get more and more and more of them. Renee then brings up the fact that Mercedes didn't mention Alex Windsor, who pretty much tapped her out last week. And Renee...
Hey, she wasn't tapped. There was a bug in the ring, Rev.
Yes. As I was going to say, Mercedes quickly cut Renee off, asking if she's stupid or if she's dumb, saying that she wasn't legal, so it didn't matter. And yes, there was indeed a bug in the ring, and she was trying to kill it. Although I think the better excuse would have just been, I knew what I was doing because I knew I wasn't legal and it was a distraction. Anyway, Mercedes thinks that the only reason Windsor seems so obsessed with her is because she's been a better Rev Pro champion than Windsor ever was. Well, it's either that or the fact that she was dancing up on Windsor's man recently. Saying that Will can do her dance whenever he likes.
William.
But if Windsor wants to ride the Monet train once again, Mercedes says that she will beat Windsor senseless and lay her up in a hospital bed right next to her husband. And then she tells Renee that's enough, put the music back on, I'm dancing, and then we have the end of our segment. So, James, this wasn't a whole lot. You got that really good, diss towards Windsor, but it looks like we're just building back up to continue that rivalry as we probably end up getting a one-on-one match between the two of them.
I would have probably had Windsor here for this. I would have probably had her do something.
I don't know when Will's surgery is.
I think that's the thing too. So I'm willing to forgive it, but I think this segment would have been better with Windsor there. I also liked the tease of Mercedes going after somebody else with a title, and there aren't that many choices for her. She could go for the tag titles if when that time comes. She can go after she already failed going for the AEW women's title. I don't think she's going for it again. There is the Ring of Honor title.
Ooh, Athena.
And there is I don't know why they're doing it the way they are, but Mina is the ROH women's TV champion.
Is she really?
It's either TV or yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
she's
did
the
she win
ROH
it after Red Velvet got hurt?
Yes, and then she immediately got hurt with the broken hand.
Right, because
So
she's fighting Athena on Friday for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship,
which I think is silly when she's got the other title.
Yeah,
But I understand that the story kind of led to it because of Tony and everything, but I still think it's kind of silly.
I concur.
But regardless, so those are two options for her right there. They are getting ready. It's taken forever, and I don't know why it's taken forever, unless the person they want to win just hasn't been available. They are getting ready to debut the ROH Women's Pure title. And I think Mercedes would be interesting in that kind of setting, those kind of rules.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, she doesn't want to match Dragon. She wants to pass him.
Right.
So
two
she
more.
needs two. Needs two. And I would love it if she gets there because she teams with Harley Cameron to win the tag titles.
Her, Harley, and the puppet. Logan.
You know what? Maybe you don't even need Harley. Maybe it's just her and the puppet.
It'd be really funny. No, the puppet should win the what is the title that won itself?
The DDT title.
Yes, the puppet needs to win that.
God. All right, yeah, I'm in.
Logan James in the chat, what's going on, Logan? Saying Mercedes Moné will challenge for the IWGP Women's Championship, and that their prediction from last year still stands. Mercedes will collect up to 10 titles. Well, as James just said, it looks like she'll be going for more. 11, 12, who knows how many she's going to go up to. I guess there's the IWGP Women's Championship. She doesn't have the New Japan Strong anymore, does she?
No, she dropped it.
So she could get that back too.
Yeah,
I'm sure
technically,
New Japan would be willing to, put at least one of those two titles on her.
Stardom.
The Stardom Championship. You can go there. I mean, it's all technically the same company, but
technically. I mean, WWE has how many brands with how many titles? They all count.
Yeah. Does she have any of the CMLL ones?
I
think so.
I don't know. I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, so you want to get on that Google. I continue down the comments here. Maria saying this is one of the best promos that Mercedes has cut in her AEW career. I thought so. It was very nice that she had something to really sink her teeth into as opposed to just generic shit talking. So that was helpful. You found it?
AEW TBS Championship, the Owen Hart Cup.
Yes, just a belt.
The CMLL World Women's Championship.
Okay.
The Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's Championship. The Queen of Southside Championship.
Which is intertwined with the Rev Pro one.
The EWA Women's Championship. The Primetime Wrestling Women's Championship. And the Bestia Wrestling Women's Championship. That's
the Polish one, I think.
But that's 8.
She just won another one.
TBS. I thought the Polish one was the one she just won.
No, I think she won another one while she was in
TBS, Owen, CMLL, Rev Pro, Queen of Southside, EWA, Primetime Wrestling, Bestia Wrestling. All right. Well, okay. I'll do some investigative journalism on this, but we'll see.
Well, no, yeah, because she was 8 belts Renee when she retained, and then she came back, and now she's 9 belts. Renee even mentioned, and you won another title while you were over there.
Jesus.
So she must have won in another British indie promotion, which is, it's a lot. So Maria also bringing up, maybe we at some point see Mercedes versus Jamie Hayter Part 2. And while I will love to see that, and I do think it'll happen in the future, Hayter's got to deal with Thekla and the Spooky Girls over in Triangle of Madness. So that is that current feud, but hopefully Jamie is able to come back around and go up against Mercedes again, because that first match was really, really good. Got it there, Count Von Count?
I'm doing it. I'm doing it right now.
1 title, going. 2 titles.
All right, but keep going. I believe in you.
All right. After Mercedes finished her dancing, we went to a video package from Mark Briscoe, who starts off by apologizing to Philadelphia, saying that it was such a big place for the Briscoes as they really began their career there. But he couldn't show up because he had a new kid. So congratulations to Mark and the rest of the Briscoe family. He then hands his son off to someone else, telling them to get out of there because what comes next should not be heard by infant ears.
Discovery. That's it. Discovery.
That's
All right,
the last
we
one.
found it. Okay.
Really? Warner Brothers Discovery had to get their own title? Fucking Zaslav.
Ugh, his face is the fucking championship.
Anyway.
Warner Brothers had such a good year, too. That's what sucks.
Yeah, I know. Discovery, not so much. Anyway, after Mark's son leaves and Mark can speak freely, he then calls out MJF, obviously saying he's going to get his revenge. And part of his revenge was not allowing Max to get a fluke win over Hangman the same way that Max was able to get over him a few weeks ago. Briscoe then takes offense to the fact that MJF said that he couldn't win the big one. However, that is still something that has been weighing on his mind. And that brings Briscoe to Kyle Fletcher, who recently brought Mark up in a promo. Briscoe thinks that Kyle can't quite get past the fact that they are tied 2-2. And with Fletcher looking for challenges, he then calls him out and challenges him to a TNT championship next week in Philly. So,
damn it.
Yeah, I know. It's not a good chance that Mark wins this one, but they had some banger matches.
They did. I'm not worried about the match. I'm worried about the outcome because I really did think Mark would be a great choice to eventually take the TNT title off of Fletcher, but it's not now.
Yeah. And not to mention, then Mark would have more wins over Fletcher. And I think they would rather have Kyle get, that one up on the vet.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Esmer, a great promo from Mark. And I'm very much looking forward to that match, even if Mark will probably lose.
Bummer.
All right.
Congratulations on the child.
Yes. Congrats, Briscoe family. That led to our next match, which saw a whole lot of people. It was an 8-man all-star tag. So it was Brodido, Brody King, and Bandido, and JetSpeed, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight take on 4 members of the Don Callis family. With some of the heavy hitters in there, Kazuchika Okada, Konosuke Takeshita, Josh Alexander, and Hechicero. So going towards the end of this match, Takeshita and Okada were taking Speedball to task. And at one point, Okada had Speedball in the corner. But Takeshita pulled him out of the corner, so Okada didn't get a shot at him. And then Takeshita took him out with like a German or something. So Okada got mad, and Takeshita and him went face-to-face, leading to Okada pushing Takeshita into the ropes. However, before Konosuke can do anything, he's grabbed on the outside by Brody King, who pulls him out. A little bit later, with everyone pretty much taken out on the outside by Takeshita's tope con hilo, Okada attempts to hit the Rainmaker on Speedball, but Bailey is able to duck it, and that allows Knight to hit a springboard lariat, and both men are taken to the outside. Bailey then meets Alexander at the top, where he's able to hit a Rana to get Alexander back down to the mat, and Speedball goes back up top, attempting to hit the shooting star knees, but Alexander is able to dodge it. Bailey is able to land on his feet, though, but Alexander quickly takes them out and gets Bailey in a roll-up, keeping him down, for the 3 count, despite the best efforts of all of Bailey's teammates to break up the pin as they were held back by the rest of the Don Callis family. So, James, gotta love you, a PWG match in Philly. This crowd was so hot for this match. They were hot for every match
Yeah,
tonight,
no, it was a great crowd.
This one was particularly loud just because of the talent in there and everything that was going on. I did like a bunch of people when this match was announced over on Reddit. Everyone was like, man, I can't believe Alexander's in there to take another pin. And he goes out and gets a fucking dub. So I was very happy about that. Just loving the unpredictability of Tony Khan in these matches and who's going to get the win, because even when you think you know the answer, he changes the question.
Oh, yeah.
But the big plot line coming out of this match is the continued tension between Takeshita and Okada.
I like that the tension between Takeshita and Okada is simply 2 guys who want to say they're the best. Like, it feels like a dick measuring contest. It just feels like a pissing contest between these 2. And I'm fine with that. Like, sometimes you don't need any tension. Like, I'm sure we're going to hear about something that happened when Takeshita was a rookie in Japan and Okada like big brothered him or something. I'm sure that's going to be something that gets said, but I don't need it. You've been the ace all this time. I'm the ace now. I'm the guy. I like that. I really, really, really like that. And I'm sure it's going to drive Don crazy. If I'm Don, I don't know who I side with. Like, on one hand, it's Okada, but on the other hand, it's you got the younger guy here in Takeshita.
The guy you're molding.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think the crowd wants to cheer for Takeshita more than they want to cheer for Okada. So maybe it makes sense. You and me both. So maybe it makes sense to turn Takeshita face here, but he's been the aggressor. So I don't know, but it is fascinating to watch.
You also have the aspect of it too between the two of them, not to cut you off, where they're both kind of trying to impress Daddy Don. And, you know, and it's a little weird, but it is true. And you also have Takeshita feeling that Okada is encroaching on his turf. You know, he is the alpha of the Don Callis family. And then you bring in this other guy who's seemingly taking your place. And, you know, a lot of similarities. There's, you know, between the two. And obviously they're both guys who came over from Japan. So there's that aspect as well. But, yeah, we remember a few weeks back, you had Takeshita tell Okada, this is only temporary. And so far, it hasn't been. So I think Takeshita is probably wondering, why the fuck is this guy still around? He beat Kenny. This shit should be over. Send him on his way back with the Bucks.
Yep.
But you saw the Bucks also kind of working with Okada, too. So the Elite's still there. Oh, excuse me, not with Okada, but with Don as well. Yeah. So you have kind of the Elite, not necessarily in the family, but affiliated right now.
Adjacent.
Yeah, adjacent at minimum. So I think Don did technically say Okada is part of the family at this point. But even then, I would imagine that Okada's allegiance is to the Bucks first. That would be my guess.
I think at the end of the day, his allegiance is to himself first and foremost.
Very true.
I think he's using Don more than Takeshita's using Don.
Yeah.
And this is one that I'm eagerly, like, I never thought I'd say I am so excited on a weekly basis to see a Don Callis segment, but I am now. Like, take Kenny and Hangman out of the story. I'm excited for the Don Callis stuff. That group is stacked. I keep saying it every week, but you have Konosuke Takeshita, the G1 winner. You have Kyle Fletcher, the TNT champion. You have Kazuchika Okada, the unified champion, the returning Wardlow, RPG Vice, Josh Alexander, Hechicero, Lance Archer, Mark Davis when he's back, Brian Cage when he's back. This group is stacked.
And they just added Wardlow. I know you mentioned it, but they just added him.
I wish they had done a little more for him tonight.
Yeah, he briefly popped up when Don was making the entrance announcements.
He was there with Don,
match,
but he didn't.
He was like in the Archer role.
Yeah, which is funny because Archer was there.
Yeah.
So I hope they do more. I don't want that to be him. I don't need him to be the silent guy in the back. I don't need that.
I agree. So, I 100% agree.
But we'll see. We'll see. It's week one.
Yeah.
But to the match itself, for me, I had a lot of TNA love here. Seeing Speedball versus Josh Alexander, so cool. so cool. Hechicero and Bandido giving us a preview before their Death Before Dishonor main event on Friday. Cool.
Slap.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Brody King, enough said. What needs to be said? Nothing. And yeah, I'm just loving, we spent so much time talking about it, but I'll finish up with it again. I'm loving the tension between Takeshita and Okada.
Yeah, and I was also thinking about it. There's a chance that Don just lets them fight, Godzilla style, because he's done it before. There was the beef. Was it Takeshita and Will back in the day? And he was just like, yeah, we'll fight it out, and then we'll hug afterward. Wasn't that a pay-per-view match, or was that?
It was.
It was that weird run where Will beat everyone in the family before he technically even started feuding with the family.
Yeah, he was still in the family.
He was still in the family, and he beat everyone in it. Like, he beat Fletcher, he beat Takeshita. Granted, the family wasn't that big at that point.
Yeah.
But he beat everyone in it. Still part of the family. And then the feud started, and then he had trouble with these guys that he had already beaten.
Yeah. Well, he left.
Yeah.
And then like they're all nice about it, and then Kyle turned on him.
Well, Callis made him turn on him.
Yeah. Well, Kyle and Callis turned on him, and then Kyle shaved his head and shit at the fan. That's how that really went. But yeah, that was kind of weird. But like I said, they've let him fight it out before, so I wouldn't be surprised if just like go at it again, kids, and whoever wins, and then we hug it out.
Let's see.
We're not. I think Don chooses Takeshita. Same reason, he ditched Kenny for Takeshita. He's younger. That's what Don's looking for. He's looking for people to mold and be able to ride their coattails for a very long time.
I don't want to think about him riding anything. I've seen his portraits.
Maria's saying that the Don Callis family has too many members like the Dungeon of Doom. They're getting up there, but at least they're not the NWO.
And you got to remember, with the way this group seems to get injured, it's probably for the best that there are as many people in it as possible.
Yeah.
Right now, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 active members. 8 really, when you consider that Trent is there sometimes. And then almost 7 when you consider that Hechiseto is really a CMLL guy, and we get him when we get him.
Yeah, I think he's 2 contracts as well, but yeah, he's more CMLL, and then he's able to come over and work for AEW. But
yeah,
people love him over here. So
I admit,
kind of work as much as he can up here.
I am all in on Hechiseto.
He's so good. And like I said, that match Friday is going to be great.
Yeah.
All right, let's hit our next match. We obviously had the big Kenny and Hangman thing after this match. But then we went to the Opps facing off against Ricochet and GOA in an AEW World Trios Championship match. Didn't realize this was a championship match until it started, but hey, championship match. I'll take it.
Right. Yay. They can't say they're not defending the belts now, right? Like they did it at the pay-per-view on the pre-show. They're doing it here. There might not be fanfare, but they're doing it.
Well, there's fanfare for Joe because obviously they love him in Philly. Yeah. But to jump to the end here, after Shibata was able to get to Leona in a rear naked choke, Leona is forced to go into the ropes and try to get him off. And that is able to distract referee Aubrey Edwards. Meanwhile, Ricochet had hit Samoa Joe with a springboard dropkick and then a running shooting star press. So Joe was down and Ricochet went up to the top. But Ricochet, with Aubrey distracted, not Ricochet, MVP came up with Aubrey distracted and hit Ricochet in the back with his pimp cane and knocked him off the top. Powerhouse Hobbs then slipped into the ring and grabbed the wobbly Ricochet, nailed him with a spine buster. Shibata broke his hold, came back in and hit a PK, and then Joe just grabbed Ricochet, put him in the coquina clutch, and passed him out in like 5 seconds. And the Opps were able to retain their championships. They headed to the back after a little celebrating, and then after the match, as GOA is attempting to hold up a basically unconscious Ricochet, the music of the Hurt Syndicate hits, and Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin come out. So GOA literally have to lie Ricochet down in the ring, leave him there, and then go out to the ramp to fight the Hurt Syndicate, and they fight to the back, and we went to commercial because we had to restore order, as Excalibur would say. So, James, this was a fun match. It was kind of it was the spot before the main event, so it was chill, but it was still really good. But your big thing here, obviously, is what happened after, as we see the Hurt Syndicate attempt to get their comeuppance for what happened at Forbidden Door when they were attacked by Ricochet and GOA.
It was one of the stories I was most excited for coming into tonight's Dynamite. I was really hoping they would address the Hurt Syndicate stuff, and I'm glad they did, or getting us there. I'm a little bummed that GOA and Ricochet already got their trios match and lost. because there are just at this moment there are just so few trios in AEW. So this was something that could have been built up a little bit bigger. They could have been guys to actually take the titles off the Opps, just because Ricochet needs a title at some point.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to put a singles title on him, this is a good way of doing it.
It was the whole point of him getting GOA in the first place, is he wants AEW gold.
Exactly. So I think this was a little bit of a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. I'm just a little bummed about it. Because the Opps need to look dominant too. So just I don't think I was going to be happy no matter how this played out. Her Syndicate's going to need a third.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it should be MVP. It's not going to be Cedric, Mr. TNA.
He's officially signed 100%.
If he's not signed, I mean, he's there. Like, he's wrestling every week. I don't know what his status is, but, like, he had a banger of a match against Mustafa at Slammiversary.
Shocker.
And now, like, he had an X Division title shot. And now I think it was this last Thursday, he teamed with Leon Slater against the Hardys. So he's active there at the very least. So we'll see. But yeah, they're going to need a third. And that'll be interesting. They had one for a few weeks, but that storyline went nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen MVP step in the ring before in AEW, so he can do it on occasion. But if this is going to be an extended feud, I would agree.
But
a third guy to be in the ring and a fourth guy total.
I also think that he's probably the one who hired Ricochet and GOA to take out the Hurt Syndicate. I think we're going to find that out.
Oh, who? MJF?
Yeah.
Did I say MJF has stepped in the ring? I meant MVP has stepped in the ring.
Yeah, no, I was talking MJF.
Okay, yeah, because Maria says that she agrees that it was MJF who paid them off to cost them. Now, we did see after Forbidden Door, on one of the social media posts, that Ricochet didn't even really say anything. He just showed the video on his phone of the Hurt Syndicate rejecting him months ago.
Yeah, but I don't believe it.
Claiming that as his motivation. So I think that's definitely part of it at minimum.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's the whole story, we'll see. But I do think that, that is at least the catalyst for now. And then perhaps later it's revealed that MJF was indeed involved. But who knows? There was even MVP he was doing an interview and he kind of weaved kayfabe in and out a little bit, I think, where he was saying, considering Cedric was still under contract, they were thinking about having Ricochet as their fourth guy. And then he's like, as it does in our industry, plans change. And he ended up splitting off and doing what he's doing now. So maybe that's true. Again, maybe he's blending reality and kayfabe there. But whatever it is, at least the story for now is Ricochet just hates the fact that they sunned him.
Yep. We'll see. I hope this expands because it would be kind of frustrating if that's it.
Yeah. Maria asking, perhaps maybe Keith Lee joins the Hurt Syndicate. And who knows what's going on with Keith Lee? He's, as we talked about before, he's playing his cards very close to the vest, and that is his choice to do so. So
Maria wants me to feast on all that meat.
We, at some point, need our Meat Madness match there, Tony, as a reminder.
Give me what I want. Give me what I want. I don't want to froth at the mouth like Batista, but I will. Give me what I want.
No carbs, no water, just meat.
Just meat.
Sounds like a really good way to get a stomachache. All right, let's hit our main event of the evening. We saw Darby Allin face off against Claudio Castagnoli in a pretty violent Falls Count Anywhere match. This match started off with Darby immediately jumping Claudio during his entrance by literally jumping off of a storage container or shipping container, but that didn't really pay off as Claudio was able to get Darby pretty quickly, threw him into a shopping cart, and then sent him flying into a bunch of steel chairs that had been set up outside in a viewing area. And then he turned the TV on its side and dropped Darby into it. So good try, Darby. They then fought into the ring, and Darby was able to get the advantage when he I have no better way to describe this. He squirreled up that pole you were talking about earlier.
Right?
Like it looked like he was like one of those guys who like go up telephone poles or like lumberjacks and use that thing to like help them get up and like the spikes on their feet. And he just fucking like did it freehand, free climbed a pole, a round pole at that, and then did a coffin drop off of it and hit Claudio with that. But Claudio was able to kick out. So Darby is still absolutely fucking insane. And then we went to commercial with Claudio repeating what he did last week, this time with no cage, as he cleared the announcers away from their desk, took Darby, pressed him above his head, and threw him from the ring into and then over the desk. So you were right, James. Off. He did clear it.
Yep. He heard me. He heard us all, and he was like, I got you. And
challenge accepted.
Now, I won't lie to you. When they went to commercial, because he had them cleared from the table, and we didn't have the commentators there for a second, and they kind of just lingered on what was happening. I was like, oh my God, is that the ending of the show? Like, is that the, like, because they immediately,
like 9:58, right?
I'm like, oh my God, like they're doing a collision commercial now. Like, is the show over? And thankfully it wasn't, but I was prepared for like, wow, he just killed Darby. He didn't need to go on the mountain. He just needed to go on his shoulders.
Oh my God, they killed Kenny. You bastards. To get to the end of the match, after Claudio kicked out of a roll-up, Darby used a drop toe hold to send Claudio into a turnbuckle that Claudio himself had exposed a bit earlier in the match. And then Darby hit a code red, but Claudio was able to kick out of that. Darby then headed to the top and hit 2 coffin drops in a row, and he was able to keep Claudio down for a 3 count and the win off of those. After the match, Darby was quickly attacked by a hooded figure, who was revealed to be Gabe Kidd, and Kidd was soon joined by Moxley and Marina. And then Darby somehow fought these 2 guys off, throwing them into each other and even biting Kidd's hands to free himself from his grip.
I liked it.
And then somehow rolled out of the ring, like literally flipped himself over the barricade and escaped through the crowd, losing Kidd in the dark tunnels and leaving.
Going out of the building.
Yep. Leaving Moxley very frustrated and Kidd absolutely irate because apparently that's his character in AEW.
I love this. He didn't beat them. He escaped them.
Yes.
He got away. He was quick. He was smart, and he did what he needed to do. So I like this. It fits him. He's not a big bruiser. He's not Sting. He's not like a big guy. He's Darby, and he's going to fight, but he's going to be smart. He might be stupid for his own benefit, but like he's going to play this smart, and I really appreciated that here. So great way to see, like, maybe if you're in the crowd, it's not the best way to end the show, but TV wise, great way to end the show.
Yeah, and you said he didn't win. It is winning. Him escaping and living to fight another day against Moxley right now, who wants to fucking kill him, is winning, in my opinion.
You're not wrong.
Because you saw how frustrated Moxley was, almost to the point of exasperated.
Yeah.
Like how exasperated Moxley is with Darby and the fact that he just can't seem to not necessarily get his hands on this kid, but just finish him off.
Yeah.
And Moxley is getting just more and more frustrated and exasperated and annoyed. And I can see this happening maybe again next week, but like to the point where Moxley will end up having to accept the match because it's the only way he can get his hands on Darby and presumably finish him off. So so I enjoyed that aspect of the ending. And then, as Maria said, excellent plunder match between these 2 guys. Great table spots. You even had an I am the table spot. Shout out Matthew. So Darby had to go through a table twice, but whatever. Just good stuff all around from them.
I do want to acknowledge a chant that was happening after the match when Mox is out there and they're beating down Darby. There was a loud Eddie chant.
Yes.
It warmed my heart to hear. And I'm sure when he hears that they did that, I'm sure it's going to warm his heart too. It's going to be massive when he comes back.
Wherever he comes back, and I kind of hope it is in Philly, because
it's going to be huge.
Unless they're coming to New York anytime soon, which I haven't heard.
Yeah, well, I mean, not New York, but we're getting Newark for the pay-per-view, and I'm sure we're going to get...
That's not till like November, though, isn't it?
But in September, I'm sure we're going to get a Grand Slam.
Maybe. Why? Because the U.S. Open's on right now and causing all sorts of hell.
Well, no, but I mean, we get Grand Slam every September in New York.
Yeah, but I thought they weren't going to do it this year, especially because the next one, they're doing one in Australia. Soon.
Well, no, they did that. They did one already.
Oh, not one. They're going back to Australia, but it's not.
Yeah, but I don't think that's.
I don't think they were doing one somewhere else. I could be tripping.
You better be. I look forward to that every year.
I mean, obviously, I would love to go back and hopefully they have one soon. I don't know if it would be September. I think they would have announced it by now if it was September.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, I don't know if they would do one so close to running Newark as well.
No, that they've done that before. That they've done. That there's a little bit of a small gap, but a gap nonetheless.
Fair enough. All I know is I'm going to that Newark show.
Did you get tickets?
No, why they go on sale already?
They're on sale. VIP, crazy affordable. I
will talk about it off air. I was considering getting some good seats. Drunk Nick wanted some.
Giddy up. Maria saying Moxley is ditching Claudio and Yuta for Gabe Kidd and Danny Garcia, new look Death Riders. Rev and I both like Yuta here more than the next guy. Sure. If Moxley ever considered ditching Claudio for all three of those guys for Claudio, he's wrong.
Yeah.
You don't ditch Claudio for anybody. That man is the most loyal soldier you're ever going to get.
I think the other thing, too, is Kidd is a New Japan wrestler, and he's presumably under contract with them for a while. Isn't he also the leader of Bullet Club?
Or
at least
Club,
the War Dogs?
Yeah, the War Dogs. Bullet Club has kind of split up right now. It's very confusing following Bullet Club right now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he is the leader of the War Dogs.
Right, because there's Bullet Club, War Dogs, and then what? House of Torture is the other half.
So, you know what? That's the crazy thing. I don't even know. So, like, the technical leader of Bullet Club is Dave Finlay. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's with the War Dogs. Because technically, they were his War Dogs. But now I don't know what the hell's going on. He's technically not the leader. Gabe Kidd's technically not the leader. But I think he's becoming like the War Dogs ace.
Okay, that makes sense. I know he's very high up in Bullet Club. Okay, so that makes sense. But yeah, I think either way, contract-wise, I don't think Kidd could be here enough to be full-blown Death Rider. So I'm enjoying him as the New Japan mercenary. I wish they would take Bullet Club a little bit more, but c'est la vie.
Lovey.
But yeah, so I don't think that's going to happen. And again, I just don't see Garcia joining them. I feel like I think he will join somebody when he turns heel, but not them. I don't know.
I don't know where he goes, if not
especially
them.
just because that's true. But he just fought against them so long. It would be kind of lame if he was just like, yeah, no, I'm going to join them now.
I mean, it is very NWO to fight. I'll join you.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking that. I was just like, that's so it's like Macho joining the NWO.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, great match. Very much enjoyed it. And I thought it was a good love letter to the ECW arena to have that match to close the show. I guess to start wrapping things up here on Dynamite, Tony Khan said he hadn't stepped foot in that building in 27 years or something. Maybe it was 29 years, whatever.
29.
Yeah, 29 years, and he was pulling out all of the stops, and I really think he did. I thought all of the speaking promos were great. Obviously, the Hangman Kenny reunification was great. Cope and Christian doing their thing at the top of the card was great. I did accidentally skip Athena and Mina Shirakawa. They had a bit of a promo package for their title match on Friday.
She called her girlfriend.
Yes. Tony was there and with Mina. And
this was a great episode for the LGBTQ community. Just saying.
Yeah. I did love Tony was like, Mina, how's your hand? And Mina just slapped the shit out of her. And Tony was like, my God, you're back. I was just like, God, I love this woman. And Mina's so good at playing both of them. Mina's so good at playing along with it, too. So all that stuff was great. But, yeah, that's their thing, though. But I thought, more importantly, the wrestling tonight was unbelievable and definitely akin to something you probably could have seen back when ECW was running Philly, just how good all of it was. And then you got a great, as Maria said, plunder match at the end of the show. So phenomenal Dynamite, James. I am looking forward to every show they have at this residency for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think they're there for 3 weeks, like this week, next week, week after. And they're putting a lot on them. ROH pay-per-view, Collisions, Dynamites. We're getting a lot there. So
is it 5 shows? Is it 3 weeks or is it 2 weeks?
I believe it. I thought it was 3 weeks. I don't know now.
Okay, I thought
I'll look it up.
I thought they had mentioned 2 because that would be 5 shows.
Yeah, AEW.
You'd have the 2 Dynamites, the 2 Collisions, and the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, and I think that's more than enough for one town. But either way, I don't care how long they stay.
Texas had it forever when they did Texas.
Oh, that was the they were running just Collision out of like one arena for like a month. I think that's what that was.
All right, so
it was in like that esports arena.
Yeah, I think so.
That was just
we're getting 3 Dynamites there, 3 Collisions, and the ROH pay-per-view.
Oh, okay, so it is 3 weeks. So yeah, that's 7 shows. That's a lot. But I don't think they're gonna burn out at all. I mean, they didn't really burn Chicago out when they did it for those 3 weeks a few months ago, and because I think the arena is smaller, there's going to be more people filtering in and out of there. So it'll be hot because there'll be probably a very fresh crowd every time they have a show. So very excited for the rest of this residency.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And on that note, I would like to thank everybody so much for watching us here at the Mark It Down Podcast. We'd appreciate it if you liked it, subscribe. If you like the video, let us know that you are liking what we're doing. We'll literally end on the internet, and we can continue to do so. And if you subscribe, you continue to get all the great stuff here on the podcast. We'll be back here on Wednesday again for Dynamite. You got the Gym Pack Zone tomorrow for Thursday.
I might do Death Before Dishonor on Friday.
Was just going to ask if you were going to do that. I might even try to watch it. We'll see.
Wow.
We'll see what I'm up to on Wednesday. But and then as we've been saying, we're trying to do some more short form videos here. We're still kind of working through that. So just keep an eye out for those. And go check out Matt Cascone's interview with The New Day where they just absolutely cooked him for 5 minutes.
Please.
It's worth watching Matt get roasted. If you want to check us out on any social media sites, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or Blue Sky, and you're watching us here on YouTube, you can check out all those links in the description below. And if you're watching us over on Facebook or on Twitter and want to follow us some other places, Twitter is at @marketdown_pod. Instagram is at marketdownpod. YouTube.com/marketdown3665. marketdownpod.bsky.social over on Blue Sky, or just search Market Down Podcast on any of those platforms or any social media platform, and you'll more than likely find us. James, anything before we get out of here?
Just like AEW is establishing its residency in Philly, I am establishing a residency here at the pod, I guess, these next few days. So I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you Friday, hopefully. And more than anything, guys, please, please, please send your best wishes to Rev. He's going to have a hard day this Sunday as he's going to draft a terrible team in fantasy. And I am out the gate looking pretty good.
Wow, starting the shit talking early, even though my first 2 rounds are already Derrick Henry on Amon-Ra St. Brown.
First round, baby. Saquon
and Jamar. Those are pretty comparable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I have St. Brown in the second.
That is pretty good.
All right, so I guess I thought you were just going to say because I'm commissioner and I have to wrangle all of you idiots, but yeah, sure. Bad draft. All right, so let's get that out of the way. But hope everybody enjoys their Labor Day. And for James DeSanti, my name is Nick Cummings. Thank you so much for watching us here at the Market Down Podcast. Have a good one, everyone.